Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call this workshop to order. Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Carly, if you can call the roll, please.
Nidinger?
Here.
Thomas?
Here.
Thompson?
Here.
Reed?
Here.
Penny?
Here. All right, let's see, first item, for League of Cities voting delegate for the conference. I am going, so just want to do it.
There you go. Should be.
You got my vote.
Excellent, done.
Done, moving on.
All right, done. Next one, 2024 Emergency Action Guide Review. So, come back up.
Good morning again.
Morning.
Hey,
So, very simple update this year. Find and replace anywhere that said 2023 now says 2024. We did update the terrorism quarterly, what did they call that again? From the Homeland Security. We're not doing them as frequently anymore, the terrorism update, but we did put the last one from May of '23 in here. And then we also had to update some contact information from St. Pete Fire, as they have a new interim fire chief. So very simple. It doesn't affect the meat and potatoes of the document. It just updates things that, had dates and needed updating. The National Terrorism Advisory System Bulletin. But the overall processes and guide stays exactly the same. Questions on that?
Only thing is throughout the years that I've always thought might be a good idea, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't, is to have an index in the front, so you can scroll right to what page something is on.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, I could easily.
It might help in an emergency when you're not thinking clearly and trying to get things done. But otherwise, you guys always do a great job. Thank you.
Who doesn't think clearly emergency, right?
There you go.
I think that's why all our codes are developed, right? Because of that.
Yes.
The brain doesn't seem to function good under stress sometimes. I know hurricane season just started, and that's when the how do I say this? The like the nerd in me comes out, and I send you guys the updates when I see areas kind of that are potential. Is that overkill, or do you guys enjoy getting
like
those
it.
things?
I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure.
It's
Okay.
good. Because no matter how minor it is, it can always change
Yeah.
pretty quickly. So it kind of gets you in the right thought process. I like it a lot.
Okay, so keep doing that then.
Especially helps when I have to send something out to warn people and remind them what's going on. It's good to have your input.
Of course. Okay.
Okay, well. Where's Jim?
Right up there.
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
Guess we're
guys.
good. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to budget.
Show up.
Well, we'll probably have to have a break in between.
Good morning.
Morning, Jim.
Okay. This morning, I just wanted to start with a couple discussion items relative to the capital improvement fund. I didn't give you any handouts on that today because I didn't update the numbers. But a couple things came up in one of the the first ones, I guess, Sean may want to come up here. We did go out to bid for the pavilion, and we did get 3 bids that came in. And basically what I saw was, one came in from Harbor Contracting for $1,239,325. One came in from Tampa Contracting, $1,030,974. And the lowest bid was Tim Group, came in at $894,860. So,
What was the name of that company again?
Tim Group,
TIMM.
TIMM. Okay. And I guess the discussion item is we budgeted $800,000 for the pavilion, so none of them came in at or even below. The lowest bid, we'd have to add about $95,000 to the capital budget. But we had talked about this 3 or 4 months ago and kicked around the idea of how much we want to spend on the pavilion. So I just wanted to bring that up. I didn't know.
Those were the 3 we got, right?
Yeah, I mean, 31 people had plans and 3 people showed up for the bid. Now, I have been in contact with Justin, and actually I was gonna meet with him either this afternoon or Thursday to go see what we can remove to bring the price down, if that's,
Justin?
or the engineer.
Oh, our engineer.
Yes,
okay.
yeah, because there's, excessive sidewalk and stuff that we don't need to put in, so, we can lower that price, but again, it just depends on, if you guys even want to do that.
Well, I
or-
mean, is it's dangerous the way it is now, right?
I mean, it's.
Could be.
It's getting there.
We kind of had a little conversation, Sean and I, about this a couple weeks back, and anticipating that the bids would frankly not come anywhere near to the budget. And I was like, well, if that's the case, we got to rethink this whole thing. But in light of the fact that one came in relatively close, and we are looking at pay now, pay later kind of situation, I think we should explore going forward with the low bid myself.
Yeah, I think that if we move forward, I'm thinking you're probably gonna need to add a 10% contingency in there for unforeseen circumstances.
Well, I think there's probably already in there.
You think it's already?
I think so, yeah. I think there's, and like I said, I'm gonna go and Justin, I talked to him after this came out, and he was hoping to maybe even, depending on what we take out, get it closer to like the 800, 750 is what he was hoping.
What would you take out, though? I mean,
Well, there's a lot of sidewalks, so just on the pricing, I gotta sit with him, but he has the line item for pricing and stuff, but if we have to change something, but until I sit down with him, there's probably at least 40,000 in sidewalk that probably don't need to be there, just guessing.
yeah.
But, because obviously, nothing's cheap.
So should we go ahead and increase the budget to 900,000 or leave it at the 8 and see how it works out? And do a budget amendment at the end, if we need more.
We're gonna have to do something. I mean, it's falling apart piece by piece,
Well,
right?
we
Why
can,
don't we just change the budget to 850? We think we'll be at least there, maybe, right?
hopefully,
maybe.
like I said, until I actually sit down there with
And
him.
then if we don't have enough, then it won't be that bad to amend.
Or,
Do you
yeah.
have a feeling that it might be able to go lower? I know it's kind of a
There's some
private
stuff
thing.
we can take out, but I don't know how much lower, it just all
Don't have any
depends on
kind of
if we wanna
grants or
spend.
anything for
We
that?
have the $250,000 grant, so if we get down to, say, even 800,000, you take, that's what,
Take that 250 off,
550?
yeah.
That's still a lot, but,
Is that for that, or is that for the park, the kids thing?
no, that's separate. This is
That's-
just for the
okay.
pavilion and the new electrical and stuff to go with it, so,
Yeah, because we had talked about this 4 months ago, and we talked about, it needs a new roof, and it could use some cosmetic changes, but we thought maybe a couple $100,000 for that, but, so that's.
To rebuild it, it's time. It's been there a long time.
Current age of that.
We're updating everything.
It was there
Let's-
when I started.
And that's-
I'm 28 years, so.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah, so, why don't we put 850 in the budget? and
makes
then go ahead,
sense.
let's move forward with the lesser bid.
Right.
Good for everybody?
Yeah, that sounds
think
good.
it's good.
That
And
sounds
like you
good.
said, I'm still gonna meet with Justin, so we're gonna hopefully be able to take some off of that, but, and, I mean,
So that means we go with that lower bid and then you try to,
yeah, I will,
Find a
yeah,
way?
yeah, I mean, either that or just, or it's always can give the one that we have.
If it's $8.94, it's $8.94.
No, I know, I mean, now or 10 years from now, it's gonna be a hell of a lot more if
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah.
do it. I don't, I mean, that's,
5 years from now.
yeah, well, I mean, we could fix that one
I
up.
mean,
It's-
Harbor's already at the 5-year price probably, so.
Yeah, I mean, new roof, I mean, that one, probably a couple $100,000 in that one if they do a real good job of giving it a revamp. So, I mean, that's just a decision you guys gotta,
Is that gonna put a new slab underneath it too, or is that just gonna?
that's, yeah, the whole
Oh,
9
good.
yards. Yeah, and it's gonna
Good.
be raised up
Yeah.
6 inches, so it'll even be a little bit higher too. But,
We had discussed it in with the department heads, and I think Sean said that the reason it's so expensive is they have to put pilings.
yeah, pile
Because-
caps
yeah.
go
Because you're so
underneath.
close to the water?
Yeah, because it's so close to the water, so
Yeah.
that's what's driving the prices up, is the
Yeah.
the engineering on it, so it's just sitting on the bottom.
Well, and it keeps, what it's for, to keep it from floating. They say in, a big storm that, the water gets underneath it, then you got a big giant slab that, which you don't think, but will move.
But it can move.
But it'll move, yes, yes.
Maybe it'll go away in a storm and then we don't have to take it down.
If it's that big of a storm.
I don't wanna be around for that one. I don't wanna be
Just-
around for
Just a
that one.
suggestion.
Yeah.
All right, it makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make those changes. And then,
Where is that at in here, so I can change my sheet?
it is not on anything.
Okay, okay.
I was talking with Carly, I said, I don't want to change the numbers and then we change them again. I just
Right,
wanted
right.
to wait till we get some final thoughts and then I'll update the numbers and bring them up.
Well, my
We got a
850,
couple- we got
my
a couple-
850 is a thought though, if you guys think we ought to put the 900 in there.
I'm for 9. If we're gonna do it, why Band-Aid approach it? Just do, I'd rather see 9 and spend less than have to come back and do a budget amendment.
If we don't use all of it, it's still there.
I agree. All right, let's go to 9.
All right,
We have a meeting Thursday, right?
We were gonna cancel that.
Okay, I'll scratch that. I was gonna say, if you could bring the rendering, as us with it.
Or we could have it's up to y'all. I mean, yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have, there's one the following Tuesday, there's a regular meeting
Say
the
just do
following
it
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, no, yeah, I should have that from Justin and see
Okay.
what we can do. Cause I'm gonna call him, hopefully to get there today, I'll call
I mean, the
him.
rendering, the original rendering that the bid was based on, because I just forget what the thing looks like.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yeah, no, I have that in my
Okay,
office.
that'd be great, thank you.
Okay. I'll email it to y'all, so you have it.
Perfect, even better, thanks.
Sean, did you ever get any pricing on those?
Thursday.
Carports?
Thursday, yep, Thursday, we got one company coming, but we have, and then another one, I think it was, Monday. But yeah,
Okay.
we're working on that.
you didn't have to do an RFP on that.
No, well, not yet,
We don't know what the cost is.
Right,
If it
yeah.
goes over 35, we will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
but yeah, I'm not sure, what that number is, but whether that's coming.
Okay, sounds good.
Got a couple more capital items, but they kind of pertain to our legislative budget. So on the handouts we have here, I think it was exhibit, let's see here. Exhibit B, I'd rather work with B1. That's legislative, bringing that back. We talked about that at the last meeting, but 2 items got added or are potential adds. If you look down at other contractual services, I added $7,730. That, Carly can probably talk on it. Spectrum gave us a price, I guess, going forward, they're gonna charge us monthly for the Chambers TVs.
So right now, our government channel is free. It was free many years ago to everybody. Over the years, the technology used for it has changed. And so basically, as you update your equipment, you then incur a cost because they have to come in and put new like fiber cable in and everything. So right now, we don't pay anything to Spectrum to run our government channel. As soon as we do our next AV update, which is part of why this has taken so long, is trying to coordinate the AV vendor with Spectrum and trying to figure out what we were going to need for both ends because both sides are going to have to update. When we make that change, there is then a new installation of the Spectrum encoder, which is like a piece of equipment that's in the building that takes our signal and sends it to them, which I believe is about a $6,000 cost for that equipment and install of the new fiber. And then there is a monthly cost going forward after that to have a Spectrum channel that's about, it's $650.
$640, yeah,
So right now we
$644
pay
a
nothing.
month.
So we'll have a one-time cost of about $7,000 and then a monthly cost of about $650 going forward to maintain our government channel.
650 a month?
That's 24/7 access, right? Mm-hmm. That seems pretty cheap.
Which again,
I've
that's
advertised
it's
on
part of
Spectrum
why
in the
we've been
past
going
and
back and
couldn't get
forth
away
with
with
them
that.
because we were going from paying nothing right now to that, and so we were trying to figure out if we're able to maintain our existing
There's no competition.
box with
You
them.
pay what you pay.
We can't. So
So that's what that 7,730 is the monthly 644 a month, times 12. In addition to that, Carly mentioned there's an install on that of 6,335. I need to add that to the capital budget also, so. So that'll be.
Everybody's good with that? I mean, it's
Gotta
something
do
we
it.
need.
Gotta have it.
The second item on the legislative is under consultant services. We originally budgeted $2,500. I added $6,000 to that. That is for
forward Pinellas.
Forward Pinellas.
8,500?
Right, 8,500. I had 2,500 in there. I added.
Oh, added six, yeah.
Added 6 to it. They gave us a quote of 5, plus they gave themselves $1,000 contingency, so I added 6. So we could add just 6 and leave it at 6, but I wanted to leave a little extra money for y'all in case something else comes up.
So this
What are we
is
paying
this
Forward
is
Pinellas
for the work.
for?
They're coming to present to you all next week. This was a result of when you all had talked late April, early May about the redevelopment ideas on Gulf Boulevard and on Pasadena Ave, but focused on Gulf Boulevard and kind of changing our development regulations. So them being basically the county's planning consultants seems like the right fit to bring in to assist with this. So you all had directed us to have them come into you. They're coming next Tuesday to walk through what they would do. And so this is the fee that they had sent us. So
Is Whit doing the presentation next week?
I think it's Rodney.
Right, yeah, he's good.
And so they'll be here next week. And so if you all decide you don't want to utilize them or you want to go a different direction, we don't have to use them. This is just the fee that they put in with their scope, and they're coming to speak to you on Tuesday.
So these are things they're gonna do for our city.
They're gonna serve almost in
They're gonna recommend it, we
as
do.
a consultant to do
Yeah.
the work for
Oh.
us to change the codes, to
Oh,
implement those
okay.
things. So they're not doing it completely in their capacity as Forward Pinellas, but they provide services to some of the cities at what could be a better rate, and they also understand the process since it's their process. So that's why we went ahead and discussed that opportunity. But I also know that you're going to start to look for and bring in a planner in-house. So, now it may be you want to somehow manage both of those things together, because whether or not your planner's going to do that about work, I can't say.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to just listen to them and see what they provide, and then you can make some decisions.
Are the people, so I mean, they,
Well,
Be very
I deal with them on
open-minded.
there shouldn't be
PSTA a
any,
lot.
it shouldn't be any, oops, we forgot to do this.
It's what?
There shouldn't be any oops,
Yeah.
we're using the people that are actually behind everything in the first place, so I mean, they know what they're doing. So we might as well leave it in there.
We'll see.
They were also involved in the transit-oriented development study that these recommendations originally came from. So they're very familiar even with the background of why this was coming up with us. Like they were involved.
And they work closely with the
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, didn't Ron also, when he went to set up that, the other thing we have on our website, that you can
Yes.
look at the population and stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. So,
So they
but
got
I'll
that
be here
information.
next Tuesday, and if y'all
With all
don't like
the
the
permits
sound
and
of it,
stuff.
It'll
we can
be
change it.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry? Oh, okay. Okay, well, we can get them all.
I think
the
that was
information, yeah.
FDOT that recommended the red paint.
Okay.
Those were the two items I had to legislative, if that's okay. From there, I think we're ready to go and look at the administration budget.
What area do we put money in for things like, is that in public works for, like, for replacing benches and garbage cans and whatever else throughout the? Jim,
I don't know where John specifically takes that. I mean, we
where
have.
do you pay for stuff like that out of? Like we bought all the new, like we got all the new benches
Like the
and stuff like
benches,
that.
we did the visioning one year, you know, when we do a big,
A big thing like that, but if we buy extras or more like that, that would, that still wouldn't come out of
You can
visioning,
take
would
it
it?
out of parks or wherever Jim, or visioning still,
Okay.
you know.
The
it
only
just
thought
all
that came to my
depends.
mind was that, was the pier we're looking there at Huffman, and removing it, in all probability, and putting some type of a fixed fish station up there, or railing, or whatever for people. And we had spoken to that lady that lives over there, and we're gonna put like a little plaque on that pier for her father that passed away. And my thought was that instead of putting since the pier won't be there, is to instead replace that green plastic bench that's there.
There's already a bench over there.
Okay,
We
that
already
we could,
put one there
that we
for
could
that.
we could put the plaque on.
I guess, I mean, I don't know
Well,
anything
we
about the
offered that to
plaque.
them, but I don't think they wanted to pay for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, weren't we giving them were we giving them the plaque on
No.
the one on the pier, or were we charging them for that?
No, we weren't gonna do that. We never came up with did we?
You did, we said we would.
I don't.
They were supposed to get back to me with what they would like to put on the dock, and I was gonna bring it back to you, and I have not heard from them since
Right.
that meeting.
And I never said yes, and I won't.
So, yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it went through with consensus, but.
I mean, you know, that,
but-
we
yeah.
told, maybe I missed it, but isn't that their property to take that thing down?
Me and Terry are gonna meet with them either latter part this week or next week to
Okay.
see whether they gotta take it down or we gotta remove it and just be done with it.
Because
we
we've
don't.
taken care of it all these
Yeah,
years.
I think so.
We might be stuck.
We've kind of adopted it.
No, they never came back to us, and
I've never
if
done
everybody else is paying for plaques on the benches, I don't believe that we should give them a plaque. Because we've had other people ask in the city,
I think
and
they were gonna pay for the plaque, but we had to look at the wording first, but if we haven't
They
heard
never
back
came
from them,
back
then
to
we'll
us.
I
just,
haven't
we'll
heard
just,
from them since that meeting.
we'll just let it lay until they come back to us then.
Yeah, cause we did.
that whole thing was not handled appropriately.
Yeah, when they built scooters, we ended up with an extra city bench, so that's where we put it.
Okay.
Out there at Huffman underneath the tree, so there's already a bench there for if
Yeah.
that's what they want, but yeah, that, I didn't know. I think that was one of the meetings I was not
Well, I'd
here.
also
Tell me
like to
what you
replace
really
the other
think, yeah.
plastic ones at Fred Hill Park, get rid of those green ones. I think it'd just be uniform in our parks.
100%. Those old green ones are really, they just.
Yeah, well, and
You can't sleep on those.
I ordered an extra set of legs for each to, cause they don't do the legs for those in aluminum. So, and some of the ones already that haven't been out there that long and they're already in bad shape that, you know,
Really?
yeah, so there's gonna be, cause you know, aluminum, that's gonna be another price, so we're gonna try to do them as we can, but I still have to just get a price for the, flush mount and then the in-ground mount and see what a set's gonna cost. Yeah, the thing is just, you know, not good,
Yeah.
not
But anyway,
good steel.
I
let's
just
put
wanted
it
to make
that
sure
way.
there was somebody in there to do this type of thing, and if it's not, maybe we talk to Jim and add whatever you think you're gonna need to replace those benches, and
Yeah, I can get a count on the ones out there.
let's get
and
the city
see.
uniform, so, okay.
Okay, good job.
Okay, administration, I'm gonna look at exhibit C1. And also C2 has a 5-year history for the department. And there's a lot in here. Probably need to let Carly speak on the first item. Did you want to talk on the salaries?
Salaries? I can, yeah.
I have numbers for you, but you
Okay. Do you want me to come down or am I okay up here? You all let me know.
No, you
You
can
can
stay
talk
up
on
there.
it.
Okay. So you'll see there's a
Oh, are we on C1? Oh, I
C1.
thought you said B1. Okay,
No.
C1, all right,
C1.
all right.
So if you look, you'll see a percent change in salary. That's a request that we're putting in. I've been talking with the other departments over the last couple months in our department head meetings about requesting an additional position that would fall under administration but would be sort of shared amongst the departments in the role of marketing and promotion for the city. All of our department heads kind of, we all wear a lot of hats. That's something that we are used to here, and we all understand that comes with working in a small city. But I think over the last couple of years, the amount of time that we've all needed to dedicate for things like public education, public events, marketing and promotion of the city, it's increased quite a bit, and I think that's to the city's benefit that we're doing more of that. But I do think it's gotten to where it's taking a lot of time from the directors and has started to take away our ability to be doing the other things that we need to be focusing on, at least not doing those things as well. And I also think that there's things that the city could and should be doing in terms of marketing itself that we just don't have the time or manpower to do. And so wanted to talk to you about the possibility of adding a person in that position. And I've got some notes just for how each department would potentially be using that. For administration, obviously we kind of spearhead all of our events and our social media and our newsletter. Those are all things that take a lot of time from staff, and I will say that we probably don't do it as well as it could be done because this is not our expertise. It's kind of an added thing that we're doing. And things like getting sponsorships for events, that's something that there really could
Right
be
there.
a
And we
bigger
all try to do
focus
it
on.
ourselves, and someone dedicated to going out and talking to businesses and getting us money to pay for our events is what we need. That right there would pay for itself probably.
It just, there's a lot of things, with public safety, we have our, administrative chiefs going out and doing everything, promoting all of it, doing all the presentation, and I feel like they need help, and not because they're not doing a great job, but I feel like they need help. And we could be doing fall prevention. We did a smoke detector install a couple of years ago, and these are all things that we do when we can. But I think having additional help would support them as well. And same with CID and doing flood information, insurance information, hurricane preparedness, and that can help us with CRS points for public works. There's debris management. There's, only rain down the drain, all of these campaigns that we're trying to do for public outreach that our directors are basically managing on our own. Right
Some of the
now.
things that we don't do that we probably could do, like where you bring in the truck for residents to get rid of all their paper, all their, and you make an event out of that. And that's a really cool thing that a lot of cities do. And I'm
Waste Connections would do a lot of that for us. They would bring in probably.
yeah, but it's getting it all set
That's the
up
thing, we
and
just don't have the people to do it.
right.
to-
I mean,
do
and
it.
that's a
these
really
things.
cool thing to do.
So,
Well, and then another plus is like we're talking about now with Fort Pinellas is coming next week, is trying to get some things done to update our city. And a marketing person like this could speak to these people that own these big shopping centers that have these big fronts that aren't being used for anything, and talk to them about putting some small, single or little two-story businesses in there, maybe with a place upstairs to live in or whatever, and then a store downstairs type of setup in the front of their property, turn Gulfport Boulevard into like our main street. Yeah, there's things like that. We need to start looking at the future of South Carolina, not let it just stay where it's been.
Agreed.
And we've
So
always,
would this be a
we put it
full-time
off.
position?
I believe that
Yeah.
there is significant, if not plenty of work
Well,
for.
that's gonna be
for
my,
full-time.
that's my question, not really a question. My concern is, A, I think it's a great idea. You've just outlined a very full-time position. that
Yes.
You guys here are juggling. I don't know if there's enough money there for this. I mean, this person should probably have a part-time assistant.
Well,
I mean, to really implement it properly.
It's a lot. I mean, it should be a team.
Yeah.
One person.
One person trying to do
That's
all the
doing
things
what
that
everybody
Carly
else is
just
doing.
outlined is like overwhelming.
well, is this something where we start with one and let one person get settled and then?
And see, what you don't know what you
Yeah.
need really until you
Right.
start.
What I would say.
Doing it.
What I would say is that I think we should budget for the person, like the lead, and budget for an assistant, but only hire the lead, let the lead figure out what's going on, and then the lead can help choose the assistant. If needed, then that person can say, yes, I do need this help. Otherwise, it'll just be overage in the budget, because we budgeted for what we didn't do. And we can always take it out in '26. But in '25, we can have the money in there for the person, the lead marketer person, and then for the assistant marketing person, if needed, and not have to worry about it and do a budget amendment, and then we got a year with a new person that can't get anything done because they don't have help.
Right.
Let's just budget for it.
Okay. Can I go back in and reevaluate the numbers of the gym then? Because
Yes.
we had just put in one at sort of a mid-level salary.
Yeah, I think we need to, kick that one up a little bit, if it's gonna be a lead
Okay.
person. And then look at what you're gonna do for the assistant person, so.
Okay.
I think we're really growing, Cassidy.
We really are.
You know, that you've got.
We really
We need
are.
to capitalize on it.
You got
Yeah.
to
This
look
person gonna be
forward.
out there, bringing in these businesses for places
Yeah.
to take over, some of these lots. We still got a couple of lots out there that people can grab onto, or some old businesses that maybe it's time, if they ever decide to sell, that somebody wants to take that down and puts a newer building up.
Right now, we got Jay's Fabric.
Yeah.
Literally at the entrance to the city.
Jay's Fabric. That's gonna be an interesting corner probably one day.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll take a look at that and we'll come back again.
Okay,
We'll
Okay.
update that based on this. Thank you.
Okay, the second line item down there, finance salaries went up, a little bit because, in prior year, current year, we've included 50% of, Brianna's salary. This year, we moved her from CID to here, so that bumped because of the 50% of salary. All these other items, retirement, they're gonna fluctuate based on whatever we come up with here. Computer consultant.
You want me to talk on that one too?
I budgeted 40,000, but if you go down to contractual services, you see we added 50. I'll let Carly talk on that.
So we've been working with another municipality about, trying to establish an interlocal with them, either on a temporary basis in terms to help us do either an RFP or a piggyback situation and kind of oversee updating our servers. If the temporary situation worked out and both sides were happy with it, potentially moving that into a permanent, where it would be what they've referred to as a hybrid, which is how a lot of smaller cities function, where they have they have a couple of on-staff individuals, but then they also contract because they can't do everything. And so the hope would be that hybrid situation would work out into where they could almost be our on-staff IT. They'd just be employed by another city, and then we would utilize the same support firm that they use. So those talks are ongoing, not to a point at the moment where we can finalize it, because they're having some internal transitions in their upper level offices that I can't speak to terribly in depth at the moment. So what we did was we ended up putting some money in the budget where we think it's gonna go, and then at this moment, I just need to ask for a little bit more time. Is where we're at with that, so.
I know you're on top of it.
I'm trying, I'm trying, it's a lot.
So we have the 50
It's a lot.
budgeted for that. Just want to talk on the computer consultant real quick, just to kind of give you a breakdown of where we are city-wise. That 40,000, I guess I just want to start with, we allocate our computer costs amongst different departments. The two biggest departments are CID and finance. Our total annual fee for Tyler this year is $40,799. That's just what I projected it to be. And we've allocated about 18,000 to CID. Included in the 40 that you see in administration is about almost $23,000 for Tyler. In addition, we have Velocity IQ, which is our contract services for computer. In administration, I've allocated about $10,350, but just for informative purposes, we're currently paying Velocity about $23,957 a year, and I bumped them 10%. We're in negotiations with them, so we're not really sure. So all in all, the total velocity is $26,350. I'm allocating about 10 to administration, about 4,500 to CID. We've actually allocated, looks like 9,000 to the fire department, which we've gone over, and 2,400 to Public
Sorry
Works,
about that.
Public Works. So in our administrative budget, we got about 23 for Tyler, we got 10,350 for Velocity in administration. We also have about $2,400 for Revise, they handle the city website.
Maybe I missed something. Corley, with what you're doing with Treasure Island and all of that,
Yeah.
are we gonna have somebody come in and tell us what we need?
So that's the goal.
Is that what part of that?
That's the goal, is that there's a part of our contracted services that is either with a municipality through an interlocal, or if that does not work out with them, they're gonna help us get a consultant to basically serve in that role.
Okay,
So it will
that's-
either be them or a consulting firm that will help us oversee, like, replacing the servers and updating some of the equipment. But then we will also need a contracted outside company.
So
There's no
you're saying
question.
Velocity, but it may or may not
It's-
be Velocity,
Right.
right?
It's that outside.
But you got a
role.
budget,
But it's
so,
gonna be
Yes.
somebody
It's
else.
gonna,
okay.
yes.
Oh, yeah, I just,
Yes.
I missed the
Yeah, I
whole,
wonder who Dunedin used for their new city hall, because their IT is unbelievable in there. I mean, they've got the Zoom rooms and everything
find
else set
out.
up.
they got full-time staff?
I don't
Oh, I'm
know.
sure they do.
They probably do, being
Well,
big
they're a
they are,
lot bigger than us.
But when they built that building, they didn't use just their staff, they had people come in, because, I mean, like, they got rooms with microphones that drop from the ceiling, and it's set up for all Zoom calls and things like that, and meetings, and it's just, it's a marvel.
It is
It's a nice
amazing.
place.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, so now I get
So
it.
there's
We
two
have to
pieces.
budget for whoever we
Yes.
use,
Right.
and
There's
we're
two
gonna
pieces
be
of
able
the
to get
puzzle.
consulting,
Correct,
okay.
yes.
and I want to jump back up in case I missed it, but I know we were talking about the salaries and wages, and that 77,000, which was for the marketing person, and then what was the 46 for in finance, the increase?
Brianna
Well,
coming up.
what you have,
Oh, that's, we
what you,
didn't,
right, what you have is 4% increase based on COLA. So,
yeah,
what we've budgeted under salaries for the marketing coordinator was about $58,000, okay? Yeah, but then you have pension,
Right,
an
right, yeah.
additional group.
No, I was just looking at the 46 underneath
Right.
that,
So, yeah, just
I
to
was thinking,
clarify,
I was thinking it
that
was
77
bringing
isn't
Brianna
all
on, but,
the new
Isn't just
coordinator.
but I
salary,
thought that
yeah.
was already in the budget, but,
Yeah.
okay.
So there's 4% plus that, and then 50% of Brianna, plus 4% of increase for the year. So, and I think that, so,
Okay, okay.
okay.
So
Um,
otherwise, I don't see anything. Anybody have any questions, any other item there?
One other thing on
Oh.
computers, we're
Okay.
we gotta go back to capital again.
What page you want, is that?
There's no
Oh,
page,
okay.
it's just related to computers. On the recommendation that we did get, it's not a solid, but they recommended we put $50,000 in for new servers. So I had budgeted about 9,700, so I need to increase the capital budget by $40,400 for servers. And I think Velocity had originally quoted like 45,000.
And that's for two?
It's for two, but it sounds like there's a decent amount of other updating that's gonna have to go into that. So, because,
I
especially
just wonder what
because,
the difference is in the servers that we have here and the servers I have at where I work at it. They just gave us one to replace for like 15 to replace the server. But I don't know
Well, I
what the
think
difference
that's
is.
part of the whole consulting thing, but you've gotta be, you know, they're saying one thing and then they're saying another
Exactly.
thing.
Different style or different thing?
Well, no, but I mean, they gave us kind of an estimate, and now they're saying, oh, well, wait a minute, there's another opportunity. I think what you'd have to do is budget it, but hopefully we won't spend it.
so that's where I'm
Or
sort
we'll
of at
spend
with
it somewhere else,
Yeah. Using
on
it for
exactly what we
something
need,
updating,
because
yeah.
we may not need,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, but you gotta budget for it.
Well, we're just going by what the pros are saying, I mean,
Yeah.
so they
Have a
didn't
little
think
fluff in
that
next year's
was-
budget.
I think there's a lot of fluff.
The next year's budget.
We hope,
Yeah.
we hope, I mean,
it's rough.
honestly, that's the thing, is we
Well,
hope.
yeah, you never know. Things could be
Well,
bought.
it may be taken up in another way.
Yeah.
Correct,
We really don't know until we get somebody in here that
Correct.
knows what they're doing,
yep,
in that way.
yep.
The only other comment on accounting and auditing on here, you see $20,000, that is not our total audit fee, because we do allocate that. We allocate part of that to fire, because we do ask for money back from the county for our EMS. So that does get allocated. What I did budget, which I think is probably gonna be low, I budgeted 30,000 for audit. We're currently paying about 24. So, just a heads up, that split between departments, if you look at the fire budget, you'll see accounting and auditing, and there it includes some money towards that, so.
20,000 for us and 10,000 or so for fire.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's a couple other items included, and a couple small items. When you look at fire, you'll see 30-some odd thousand. I think about 10 of it is for audit, but we do some interdepartmental allocating. Like if you look at the finance budget down at the bottom, you'll see transfer to fire department 37,9 whatever, we're allocating part of our finance salaries to the fire department. So that's included in the fire department's budget, okay, along with, some additional. I think that's the only thing I have, unless y'all have any questions.
We're moving on to special activities or?
Yeah.
So library prices are going up or people are getting more library cards?
I saw 283 library cards versus 253
Wow.
last year. Yeah, so
Wow.
the answer is yes, it is like very difficult
Wow.
to budget that item because I go by the $100 that we receive, and then we turn around, we have to pay St. Pete Beach, and sometimes there's a timing difference. When I looked at where we're at this year, it's like, we owe them 3 days, so it's like St. Pete
Wow.
Beach here today, we need to send over to St. Pete Beach. So it's very hard to budget, but yeah, it went from 253 to 283 is what I'm seeing, so.
Wow.
I think they're just offering more things for people to do besides, it's not just books and stuff anymore, you know. A lot of things with the libraries, maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Have y'all been over there lately?
So not the one at St. Pete Beach.
Since the grand opening.
Oh, yeah, one with the grand opening. It's
Is it
very,
nice?
it's very, very nice.
Yeah, it's nice. They did a good
Very
job.
nice.
Well, and then they're gonna be opening the one in St. Pete, not too, there's the big one that they're
Oh, yeah.
redoing.
Yeah,
And people can use their card anywhere in the county,
yeah.
so they could go over there. And there's puzzles and stuff now, so,
Speakers that come in, classes and things.
yeah, well, surprising.
It's still better than us trying to be part of the system, no matter what.
Right,
And it
absolutely.
gives something to our residents.
Yeah, it's surprising to me
Is
that
the
so
band
many
asking
people
for
get
any money this
library
year?
card.
Yes, they are.
They're asking for
I
more
can
than
get
what
a
we
free
usually
one
give
because
them.
my license says St. Pete.
I'm trying to
Don't
find
tell
a
anybody.
letter.
Just tell everybody.
Just, you know.
No, they didn't really ask for a specific amount, they just,
Wanna
we
see
asked that
it.
you include your band in the budget workshop for 2024, 2025. We put the city's contribution to the band to good use, and the funding is necessary part of our operating budget. They sent a letter here, it doesn't actually request payment, but I think they're intending to request payment for this year. We haven't paid them their $1,000, so I guess I wanted to get approval to do that. They did send they always send a little operating statement. I don't know if this thing got posted in the reading file or not. I can make sure it gets there. They mentioned in their letter that they got $3,756.63 bequeathed to them from the Masonic Band of St. Petersburg. They said they want to do a $5,000 scholarship program for music majors at St. Pete College. And so if you look at their statement, they're sitting good with cash, but I think they're planning on spending $5,000 of that. So I'll put that in the reading file.
Well, they explained to us when they came in, they have to update their music and, you know, all of that, so there is an
Well, the cost
expense.
of things are going up, and I'm just wondering if we ought to bump that to 1,500 a year, starting next year, because it's not like things are getting any cheaper, and we've had that 1,000 for a few years now. I don't know how you guys feel about it. The band is something people like to go see.
Yeah, that's true.
They have been much more involved with us the last
Yeah.
little bit. They're much more communicative.
So
and
let's
much
give them a little bit
involved
more,
with us.
starting next year.
All right,
Bump it to 1,500.
And go ahead and pay them for this year. Art show block party, don't that need to be 20 grand? Just kidding. Could have a great show.
well, if you have the marketing,
Yeah.
then they may be able to get more donations too.
Mhm.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I tried to give you, we're spending about 10.4, it looks like 10,395 we laid out for 2024. Got 6,000 in sponsorships, 904 in concessions for the drinks. So it netted out, our cost was 3,000 some odd dollars, but after sponsorships, but
Right.
but all in all, it's costing you right now 10,000.
Do we donate something to the marching band that comes in and everything?
Yes.
Yeah, 250 we donated.
Yes, we-
They're the best.
Yep.
I like that.
They do make it right.
Yeah, I tried to, I attached general ledgers if you guys wanted to look at, you know, some of the things we paid for, but I wasn't gonna go through it unless you had any questions.
Employee holiday party, are we sticking with the gift card thing, or are we doing a party this year? I know what everybody likes.
I'll tell you, with how much inflation has been, I think everyone has appreciated the gift cards the last several years.
Yeah.
The parties are fun also, so it's really kind of up to you guys what you'd like to do. There was talk last year of potentially doing both, but it's
How much of a gift card do we give them now?
75.
75 is what we did.
And
$75
that's what the
gift
3,300
cards.
pretty much covers?
Because what we did was
75?
during COVID, we had budgeted for the events, but we
Right.
couldn't hold them,
We-
so we
we
took that budget
Yeah,
and
42
just split it
plus
up.
2 new positions. Now there may be an additional position, but,
We have, yeah.
Any suggestions? Gift card and a party? Just a gift card?
I mean, how much can a party cost?
Yeah.
1,500?
I've been known to throw a
Yeah,
really
it's-
good one for $100.
All right, well, I'm surprised you said 100, I thought you'd say 50.
Put you in charge. Yeah, right.
Bring your own food.
But no, we're lucky we've got really great dedicated employees. I love that we're giving them a gift card, put something extra in their pocket, but I think an appreciation it goes a long way and on top of it for
I think
the,
that would be nice.
the
I
little,
think they should have.
it buys a lot of goodwill.
I think that would be nice.
So should we double it?
Yeah.
Let's double it.
Okay,
That'll- Hopefully that'll be enough for a party.
that will be, yeah.
Besides, it look, Harley has to be able to come up with some new games to play.
Oh, my word. I have fun with the games.
Let's build the gingerbread place.
I have a good time. That was fun.
That was fun. I like
That
that.
was
What was?
fun.
Building the
gingerbread
gingerbread houses.
We did a
That year,
gingerbread
the
contest.
contest we did.
Yeah.
It was fun. That was fun. So,
volunteer appreciation.
Yeah, I bet you could.
We haven't been doing, but I left the 200 in there. I don't know if you want to leave it, just in case.
Do we still have all or?
yeah, was the problem was like we
Just the
kind
library,
of
right?
paused some of that.
Do you
Just-
use that for the block party? I mean, the art show appreciation? Do you use
We
that?
so you all were a select. We used to do a banquet, and people stopped coming.
Yeah.
So then we stopped doing a banquet, and we just chose basically a volunteer of the year, and we were just giving them like a gift card and an award in recognition. And then we paused that during COVID because we didn't have anybody coming for anything.
Right.
So we can restart it.
Yeah. We already do the thing on Thursday for the art show, the meal and all that kind of
Right.
stuff up here for everybody, so
That's
that covers that.
Do we really have volunteers for stuff?
Oh, you got it?
basically just art spring.
For what?
Basically just art spring.
Yeah.
Doesn't somebody come in to straighten out the library?
Yeah, it's been like 4 different people over the last 6 months. I mean, I appreciate it. I absolutely appreciate it, but it's not been a consistent
Yeah.
person. It's been someone that's been like, hey, I'm here for a little bit. Can I come in? We're like, absolutely. But there's not been
Should we take the
an established
little
person.
200 out?
I'll leave it in case we need it. It's
Okay.
only 200.
Special activities, what does that cover?
We're only spending about $3,000, you can see there.
What do we pay for?
I don't know, tree lighting, what I see in there
Yeah.
basically is all I see.
Under
And
special
then there's
activities?
some other Bank of America shares that I have to pull in this.
We're only spending 3,000 on lights? We should be spending 6.
Well, no, that's not the lights.
That's not the light.
That's just the event.
Oh, okay.
Sean
The
budgeted-
lights come out of
I
Public
think he
Works.
budgeted 10 under Christmas
Yeah.
decorations, 10,000.
Yeah,
Need to see it from the space station.
yeah.
I mean, that budget 6,300, we used to have an Arbor Day, I know that.
We do it for things if we have like
We got a 9/11
some kind of
event, but
breakfast up here to honor something. It's kind of a catch-all for, sometimes we'll have recognitions up here, things like that. It kind
So it
of,
sounds like it's
comes
enough,
out of
since we've
there.
only been hitting
So-
about half of it.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah.
might even be too much.
Boat parade, we're still good at that 10, it looks
So-
like, from the averages, I guess, over the years.
Yep.
Do we don't need anything there?
Were the prizes good this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had decent participation, yeah. Yep, so,
Oh, you kept one.
Yeah. Maybe we stick with the same deal then for this year.
I would like to, I'm already in talks with Marine Max about getting a save the date early.
Oh, that'd be great, yeah.
So, Yeah, just to let
Looks
you know,
good.
if we stick with the same pattern we've been doing for that, it would be December the 13th. So tentatively, because we've been choosing the second Friday in December, which is December the 13th. So that's not set, but that's the date that we've been going back and forth about. So
Okay.
check your calendars. We'll talk about that more in August, but I've just been making sure that Marine Max was back in with us again, and as far as I know, they are.
December 14th? What'd you say?
13th, Friday the 13th. Because we've been doing we've been doing the second Friday in December, and this year that
Pretty
falls
good,
on
yeah.
December the 13th, if we stick with. The hope is that all of the cities around us stick with the same pattern, because we haven't been conflicting, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping that if we put our date out there in like August, September, and everybody else sticks with their same pattern, then there won't be any
Okay.
issues. That's what I'm hoping. We'll see.
Are we looking at a fire station open house?
Yes, so
Is that in his budget? Fire budget?
I believe so.
I thought it was in the fire budget.
I believe so, because I think what we have been talking about was, you know how they normally do the an open house in like January? We were talking about this one for next budget year, the one in October, basically being that in place of that, and then starting with the January event again, like the next year, in 26. Instead of doing one in October and then another one in January.
Right.
So
So
basically,
isn't that in the fire budget? I thought it was.
his is, yeah.
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 All right, all right.
So
I wanna
that's
make sure
what
we don't
we've
miss
been
that.
talking about, is doing the one in
Okay.
October in place of the one in January, and then starting again in the following January, a year later.
Yeah, senior services up at the top, that's neighborly, we good with that, 2,500?
Senior services, oh, that's the,
Neighborly senior services, they usually send us a letter asking for a contribution. We
Yeah.
give them 2,500.
do we even know how many people they service in our city at all?
They usually send us a letter, don't
They
they?
sent us a letter, we haven't gotten one this year.
They
yet,
send us a
so-
letter and they ask for much more than we give.
Yeah, they usually ask for
Yeah.
like $5,000. or
They
something
deliver
like that.
food though and take people places and stuff
Yeah.
like that, right?
Yep, they ask for quite a bit.
Again, I'm looking at, inflation keeps going up and up. Should we help them more? I mean, looking for a suggestion here.
I'm open to giving more, but I'd like to see what the accounting, what they did for us first. Based the number of people and what they've done.
Make sure that it's for
Instead
people
of just
in our
saying, here, we
city.
want more money, can we see
Yeah.
what we did this year? Could be-
Do you want me to see if I can pull the one that they sent us from last year really quick?
Yeah, if you got that.
Sure.
Yeah, if you guys wanna move on real quick, I'll just see if I can grab it real quick.
Okay.
Keep going, I'll come back.
What's good in welfare?
What's good in?
Good and welfare, we've got 3 items budgeted there. Keep Pinellas Beautiful, $750. Keep Maroni Dinner, $750. And then 2,000 for Pinellas Safe Harbor.
Safe Harbor.
That's, you know what that is.
Yeah, they still using that old jail to,
That's from, the sheriff's, for the homeless.
right, right.
That's what that is.
Hmm.
You know, back to that marketing person again. I think if we got more information on where the money is going and, you know, what we're doing for these organizations, that might be helpful too. You know, like, do we need to give more? Are they
Or
really,
the marketing person.
are they
to kinda
really,
guide us.
yeah, are they
Yeah.
really doing stuff for our city? I think that's what we really wanna know.
Want a good
We
return.
don't mind
on-
raising it,
Want a
but,
return on the investment. Don't want to just keep giving people money and if they're not.
right, if they're not helping our people.
Right.
That's how they,
So it looks like from the letter from, that we have here, that they delivered, just in South Pasadena, 3,841 meals. 174 people used transportation, and they had one person who wanted nutrition education. So a total of 4,016.
We've only got 5,000.
I was gonna say, that's a
Over 5,000 people
That's like
here.
our entire city.
Yeah, well, it says client count is 27.
Okay.
Okay,
So the meals are divided over 27 people
Right.
over a period of time.
Right. and that was, they pay about $7.85 per meal. That's 30,151 they spent, total of 34,000 in our city.
They spent, on behalf of our residents, $34,000.
That's what their accounting was, yeah.
And that was this is for the 2022 year.
They haven't sent us the
We haven't
numbers
got
for
the
23 yet.
yet.
Can't imagine they're gonna be any lower.
It's gonna be more. So I'm just saying, maybe we ought to.
We ought to
Give
think
them
about what they're
5.
asking for.
They definitely are spending more money than we're giving them.
What
Yeah.
what do they
They
have
don't,
this year?
I skimmed it real fast, I didn't see that they actually asked for set amount, they
Like
just
we would
sent us
like
the
to
accounting. Yeah,
have.
I don't think they asked for that, they just sent their accounting.
I think they just kind of let you know what they
Mm-hmm.
spend and then look for you to figure out, I don't see.
Yeah.
Like if you took 10%, it would be like 3,500.
Yeah, well, it says local matching funds on a 90%/10% basis. So for every $9 of federal funds received, Neighborly must raise $1 of local matching funds. So 10% of, I'd say we give them $5,000, that we'll be over matching and, and
That's
we'll
for
take
senior
care
services?
That's 2 years later than even this information.
Yeah, we don't have their numbers for 2023 yet.
Okay.
So we're changing senior services to 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, here, need,
All right, what's next, Jen? I think we beat the special activities up already.
Tried to do, late last night, Exhibit A. I think I gave you all Exhibit A. Tried to put it all together for you. So you can, over the next week, look and see kind of where we're at. The budget uses the existing millage rate, which is 5.0638, generates that $4,791,000 in ad valorem taxes.
I was gonna say maybe we should take a.
Do we wanna,
To have Brent come up.
do we wanna pause budget?
Can we pause for just a minute?
Okay.
Yeah,
He's a busy guy.
I'm sure he wants to sit around and listen to us talk about money all day.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we'll come back. Come on down. Yep, how are you doing today? Come on, yeah, let's get in the middle.
Hey,
Why
Brett.
not?
Good to see you again. How are you? Put it there.
Like your time.
Thank you.
Good to see you, always.
So this should, computer's right there, and you want to use the down.
Got a
Everything always
slideshow.
hits up, it's
Right.
not up, it's down.
Good morning, and I'll be respectful of your time and the budget process, which I do know actually.
Great.
It's important and it's lengthy, so I'm appreciative. Thank you to the city commissioners, and I know some of you, but I'll be somewhat formal, so just thank you for your time. As we shared with Carly, I don't have an ask. This is really just to share a little about the hospital with you all, with the residents. We like to do this once every year or two, just to share a little about who we are, and at the end, open it to feedback, whether it's today or whether it's in the future, if there's ever needs, questions, or constituents or residents who have feedback to make sure that there's that connection. I will say, from my vantage point, and I'll speak on behalf of the hospital, it is a wonderful relationship with the city. Several of you have come to different events at our hospital to honor our staff, to honor our growth. It's been a superb partnership with the fire station, with the city in building that property and having that collaboration right across the street, even doing a news segment together. So just on a personal and professional note, my thanks to everything that you all do, plus your collaboration with us. We did change earlier this year to what we call Excellence Always, so our hospital culture. The mission statement did not change. Above all else, we are committed to the care and improvement of human life. I am here representing about 900 total stakeholders in our hospital. We'll break down some of that. But we added a vision and a patient promise that has really emanated throughout our hospital. It's increased recognition. I heard you very briefly talk about employee budgets. We've upped that considerably for our hospital, for our colleagues as well, and some positives that have come out of that. For those that don't know, so we are part of HCA Healthcare. We're very much a local entity, and I'll talk through that, but starting at a high level, our hospital is supported by the largest healthcare system in the United States, roughly 185 hospitals. We're also somewhere in the United Kingdom, so technically international, but a US-based company. Our headquarters are in Nashville. We are the largest healthcare system in the United States. We're the largest healthcare system in the state of Florida. We're the largest healthcare system in Pinellas County. So we'll walk through those, but I think important on the right-hand side, we are a hospital-centered company, but we do touch, including this county, virtually all continuum of care. So we have an urgent care network that includes over 150 across the United States. There are 3 in Pinellas County called MD Nows. We're building a 4th one on the east side of town and are looking at a property in South Pasadena for future growth in the next 2 to 3 years. Next to Dunkin' Donuts. I need a better landmark, but that's where it is on Pasadena Avenue if we can close that. We include about 4,000 employed physicians nationwide, although we mostly partner with private physicians. We own Galen College of Nursing, which includes a branch here in Pinellas County near the Gandy. We're the largest nursing school program in the entire United States. The largest teaching program of physicians, what's called GME, or Graduate Medical Education. There's about 150 resident physicians in Pinellas County. We have a home health care company, which includes Pinellas County, et cetera, et cetera. There's a research part of the company. There's a cancer branch of the company. So it does extend further than just hospitals, which is really where we branded our name. Statewide, if you look, we are the largest tax-paying entity of healthcare systems in the nation, including in the state of Florida. You can see our size throughout the entire state. It's right at 50 hospitals, and we're adding a couple more, including one in the Villages and one down in Fort Myers. So continue to expand. You can see some of the economic impact, including over $1.3 billion in taxes paid across the state, between the federal, state, and local level. Here in Pinellas County specifically, over 4,000 colleagues, what we call employees, 4 hospitals and a 5th campus. That's at Indian Rocks. It is behavioral health. We have one of the only transplant programs in the state up in Largo. Pasadena Hospital, you all know well. I'll highlight in a minute, but I'm told we're the largest taxpayer in the city of South Pasadena, so I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
And continue to grow and develop, and really proud of who we are as an organization. So specifically our hospital, which I think you all know, licensed at 307 beds, 550 colleagues or employees. The active staff of physicians is about 300 strong. We have several other consulting or telemedicine physicians. Stroke is telemedicine 24/7, so if you have a stroke, you'll see a neurologist virtually within 15 minutes guaranteed, including one always on call in person. We also have received several awards in April. Healthgrades awarded us as the top 10% in the nation in patient safety, so very proud of that. In February, we received an award from Joint Commission, which is one of the main accrediting bodies for the hospital, specific to knee and hip replacements as an accredited center. I think a couple of you even joined that celebration, so thank you. Our ER across HCA nationwide, 185 emergency rooms. We were one of the top 5 in the company for 3 years in a row, so we were able to celebrate that recently. And while most patients stay with us an average of 3 to 4 days, we do have a 20-bed inpatient rehab unit. These are patients that stay 3 to 4 weeks on average. They receive 6 hours of therapy per day, whether that's physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. About half of them are neurological patients recovering from a stroke, recovering from a major neurological injury. About a quarter are orthopedic patients, especially major either falls with fractures or trauma from car accidents, and other patients that need just long-term therapy throughout the facility. Since I heard you mention Keep Pinellas Beautiful on the right-hand side, I will say we do various community outreach. We will give away approximately $35,000 to community organizations this year as a hospital. We've also started a program if our staff volunteer time, for every 10 hours they volunteer to any community organization, not just the hospital, even personally. We'll give $200 to the charity of their choice, up to $1,000 per year. So last year we also gave away over $15,000 to charities that our staff gave time to. We did do a partnership with Keep Pinellas Beautiful. We've had 3 beach cleanups in the last 2 years. We've collected over 100 pounds of trash, which I try not to think about that side of it, but so those are all with Keep Pinellas Beautiful, so an organization we have partnered with, and happy to do other partnerships if there's anything that the city has in mind in the future. Specifically for our own economic impact, just from South Pasadena, across all continuum of care, so that's emergency room, lab, physical therapy, wound care, the admission side, over 4,500 patients just from this city. If you can look at the charity care, the total paid taxes, now that's all levels, that's state, federal, and local. And this year, we will eclipse $50 million in salary, wages, and benefits.
4658 patients from South Pasadena, is that patients that registered that have that zip code?
Correct. Now, we should highlight that. That's
Frequent
encounters.
flyers.
Right, so that's
Such as
encounters.
myself.
So that's total encounters for individuals
Okay.
represented, so different sites of service. So if you came 5 times, you would be 5 times into that listing. So it's not everybody in the city, although it is a pretty substantial
We
portion.
share that zip code a little bit, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Just in quality awards, what we'll highlight, and certainly heard various iterations of the hospital in the past. Probably the best story I can tell you, my mother is in her mid-70s, usually walks miles per day, had an accident from yoga a year ago, started walking with a cane, couldn't move, needed spine surgery, went to her local hospital in Indiana, went to Cleveland Clinic, and ultimately I had her meet with a specialist we brought into this community a year ago here and flew her down here for spine surgery in April. So I believe in the hospital that much that she came here to have her spine surgery, and she's back to walking miles per day and enjoying her grandkids and everything else in life. The right-hand side is just various recognition. Our infection prevention is the best in HCA throughout West Florida, which is 16 hospitals. Our stroke times are far better than the national average and have also received these awards. We provide what's called STEMI or balloons if you're having a heart attack. We're one of the hospitals in the county to provide that service as well 24/7. These are some of the quality awards that went with them. I've highlighted it, but really just tremendously proud of the colleagues, the medical staff, and the care that we provide. And enough that I believe in it to fly my mother down here. I mentioned some of the community engagement. We do community lectures as well, so if there's ever a need with the city, happy to do that. We've done them with the city of St. Pete Beach before. We do them on an ongoing basis with Gulf Coast Senior Center on a monthly basis, quarterly with what is now Alonce or the Fountains, as we all still know them, to their residents. So there's an opportunity if you want a specific topic, if it's Prostate Awareness Month or Breast Healthcare Month, we can have a physician or technician or a nurse come speak to those specifically, if that's ever a benefit to the city. Last year, we did 16 lectures to about 500 individuals throughout the general area on the beaches communities here. I mentioned our nursing program, but just to highlight a little bit more, between Tampa and St. Petersburg campuses, there's also a small one in Pinellas Park. You can see when we talk about nursing shortage, and it exists, it is not as bad as it was during the peak of the COVID pandemic. It is still a significant challenge, particularly as in the next 10 years, about 33% of all nurses will reach retirement age. So part of our part, and although we are, again, a tax-paying entity, this is not a tax-paying part of it, is having a College of Nursing that has expanded tremendously in size and scope here. We do have 8 other student affiliation agreements. The largest is St. Pete College, so we'll have their students rotate through and other disciplines across the market. And then when I mentioned we are local, we just want to highlight, I'm also accountable to a board of trustees that's local only for Pasadena Hospital. So it's 13 individuals. Specifically, it is half medical staff. We have one more community member. The medical staff is accountable to them as well. As you can see, the mayor of Treasure Island, which is Tyler Payne, is there. We've had great representation from the city and from others. Robin Miller runs the Tampa Bay Beaches Chamber of Commerce. We have a representative from Duke Energy, a retired rabbi from Temple Bethel, which is here in South Pasadena, amongst other community leaders and medical staff leaders. So we are part of the largest healthcare system in the nation. That comes with wonderful investments. In my 2 years here, about $10 million we've invested into the hospital and more to come. But we're also very much part of this community, and this is who I'm accountable to on a monthly basis. And that is everything I have. I respect your time. I try to be mindful, but I'm just appreciative of the chance to share our story. And again, thank you for everything that you all do. If there's questions today or in the future, you've got my information. We do have a government relations individual that covers Pinellas County.
Melissa is great, and she was talking about maybe setting up some kind of a tour of the nursing teaching facility, which would really be nice. And yeah, it's really good. As you know, my husband was there recently, and they treated him beautifully. It was really, the doctors were right on his issues, and we got him out of there in 2.5 days, so we were happy about that. But I mean, it's close, it's great, everybody's good there, and that's where we go.
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job.
And I must tell you, when I was, over the last few weeks ago, I was in the United Kingdom and saw an HCA, and I was like, oh, well, that's nice. It's like I know where to go. Something went wrong while we're here. But yeah, it was a surprise to see the company there, so that was great. Yeah, perfect. But we appreciate everything you guys do and more. So I'm looking forward to this new fire station opening up and having you right there. And of course, you guys being at the big opening celebration when we finally get to it. October, we're looking,
It's
right?
coming. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so, great. All right.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks a
Brett,
lot.
thank you.
Great seeing you again.
Again, always great to see you. Have a wonderful day. Okay.
Great to see you.
All right, Jim, time to be grilled again.
Yeah, there's not that much here, so,
Yeah, where you want us to go?
exhibit A,
Well,
and it's just,
Easter.
it's the general fund budget as it sat this morning. We do have some adjustments to make, but the only thing I wanted to point out is that it's keeping the millage the same where we're at. Interest income, I might be being a little bit too generous. I figured 4.6%. We're currently at about 5.5. I anticipate a drop. Some people are saying it's gonna drop faster, go lower, but, so it might be a little bit high on the interest income. But the only thing I really wanted to bring us to is inside the last page, page 12, on the bottom. Based on the budget I have so far, we have basically a surplus of $560,465. So as we're sitting, we're looking good. The one thing I wanted to suggest, I mean, if I had to make a decision today, I do not think we should be lowering our millage rate. We have a lot of new things happening with the new fire station, as far as expenditures and stuff. One recommendation I would like to make is, I'd like to transfer, the monies to pay for the bond interest payment, the annual bond interest payment, transfer it to the capital improvement fund. For 2025, that's $352,190, so that would knock that 560 surplus down, okay? And we're gonna probably add at least 80,000 for the new, an additional position that'll come out of there, so. I feel like we're good where we're at millage-wise, but I would like to float that past you, transferring the interest monies out of our public utility taxes is where I'd like it to come from, out of the electric. We're at about $700,000 a year we get from that comes in from Duke Energy.
that makes sense.
That
And,
makes sense.
yeah, so,
How many months of regular reserves do we have if the city were to need it?
I haven't looked at that yet.
I think it was like about 6.5 last year, wasn't it, we were at, I thought?
Yeah, 6.5, 7, I think we were trying to move it up. It probably, we don't have audit done yet, so I'm not
Right.
sure where we're even sitting for 23, let alone trying to project for going forward. I suspect, I'm hoping we gain some ground in 23.
Yeah, me too.
Because we budgeted gaining ground, so I think we probably will, so.
Theoretically, there's 20,000 there.
Yeah, so that's what I'll look at over the next week before next Tuesday. But just to kind of give you an idea where we sit right now, that's where it's at. I don't really suggest going backwards on millage, and I'll look and see if I think we need to go up. But right now, I feel pretty good about what I see, so, based on the numbers so far.
Certainly not a big item, but why is the half-cent sales tax decreasing for the first time in 4 years?
It was actually flat this year.
Really?
Yeah, it actually came in flat.
Okay, interesting.
And keep in mind, these are budgeted numbers.
Right.
So
versus actuals.
versus actual, I'd have to, when I do my budget, I go in and I see where we're at half year, try to project out where I think I'll be.
Okay.
Like after 5 months, like on sales tax, it was like 98%, so we're compared to last year's actual, so we're actually flat this year. Whereas the past couple of years, we've actually had 4 or 5%
Right.
increases, so I was conservative, I budgeted flat.
Tells me right there, people are tightening.
Yeah, so I budgeted it flat to not be overzealous on money. And I can just think it's the economy spending, I guess, but things can, you know, they can change too, so. But that's where we're at, and I do need to get the enterprise funds, the reclaimed water and sewer, try to get that by next Tuesday, but again, I don't think we'll have final numbers on sewer as to increases, but we'll have a good idea where we're sitting with it. We can look at the millage more. Do y'all have anything specifically you want to see? I know I have what I normally try to throw together for you, but I don't know if we have anything.
Yeah, just your usual stuff, so.
On a non-budget note, our auditors have not been in for the last week, and I don't anticipate them back till late next week. We are not going to make our June 30th deadline to submit the financials to the state. And I guess last year we were in the same position. I think we got into them in mid-July, so that's what we're aiming for right now is mid-July. What you will probably see is a letter from the state saying bad, South Pasadena.
Is that because of the auditors not coming in?
Well, right now it is, yeah. Well, they've had some personnel issues this year. They lost audit staff.
We don't get charged for that.
Well, there's not any, is there any penalties for this?
There can be, so there can be if it goes too long. So,
Interesting.
But more than anything, they do put you on a list of non-compliance. You'll probably see a letter to that effect. Last year.
This will be our second year in a row.
Last year, we were in a similar position. We called them and they were gonna call them and kind of get a drop dead date. Because I just talked to Peter yesterday, so, and I said, are we gonna hit, because I'm starting to worry, we're getting awful close. And he said he didn't think we would make it, so, but he said July, and he said, we'll call the Auditor General and just let them know that, hey, we're doing it, we're on, you know, we're on course to getting it, but it's gonna be after the June 30th deadline.
But we still get on the bad list, huh?
It's automatic, they don't give an extension. Yeah, that was the first thing.
Any
yeah.
responses to the RFP for the auditor
I
selections?
don't know at this point, I was gonna ask.
No responses yet, no.
None
But
yet.
that's not unusual. Most of the time with an
Well, because
RFP
they gotta go
process,
through that whole
Well,
document.
they trickle in right at the end, usually a lot of times like the day of.
Probably should have asked that question. Did we ask that question? Can you make it by the 30th of June? Interesting.
We actually gave them until March 31st.
Yeah.
in the RFP, so. But, that's all I have until next Tuesday.
All right, anybody else? Anything good for the groups?
So just to confirm, we're canceling this Thursday.
Yeah.
And then next,
Jeff, you're doing a good job in case you don't get that recognition.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
It's a busy time of year, and,
Working with
Just-
figures
yeah.
is kind of fun, I know.
well, it could be. You like
Yeah, I mean, let's hope he likes it.
got that job.
Yeah.
But I mean, it can tax you sometimes.
It's brain warping, but.
Okay.
All right, then we were going to adjourn.
All right.